sketching quadratics. This is what we call parabolas. Okay, exactly the same thing. It's just describing how they look. Are we clear with that? Now, when we sketch parabolas, when we sketch quadratics, we can put them in this form here, and this form makes our life a lot easier to sketch. Now, that equation there, y equals a x minus h squared plus k, what do you notice about, are there any numbers? The 2. Very good, there is a squared. Are there any other numbers? We've got letters there, pronumerals representing where numbers should be. If this was an equation that was in its complete form, what would you expect to see? Where would you expect to see numbers? You'd expect to see numbers at a, h and k. We'd leave y and x as variables or unknowns that we could shove a value in and find the other. But we need numbers for a, h and k. What I'm going to do before we start subbing some numbers in is talking about what impact these have on our graph. So these affect how our parabolas look, and all parabolas have the same shape. If they're positive, so if this a value is positive, they look like a smiley face. Just imagine you're in mathematics having fun, and it should be nice and easy to remember. And then if it's negative, imagine you're not in mathematics, so you're sad. Okay? So that's how the shapes of our parabolas look, and they call this vertex form because this point here where it turns around, what do you think we call that? The vertex. And this will tell us, this form will tell us exactly where our vertex occurs. Before we go any further, I thought I would give you some examples of just us plotting some data. Just shoving in some values and seeing what we get. So for my first question, y equals x squared, what's my k value? Have I got a k value? So it must be?
0.
What's my h value? Have I got a h value? Must be 0. What do you know about a? What does it equal? 1. A equals 1. Are we clear? So in this example, a equals 1, h equals 0, k equals 0. This is what we call our base form of our graph. And our base form of our graph is the blue one here. Whoop. The blue one here. Where does the blue one have its turning point? Where does it have its vertex? What's the coordinate?
0.
0? 0, 0. Isn't that interesting? What did h and k equal? 0. Okay. Point for thought. It's got that happy face. Why does it have the happy face? Because a is?
In math class.
We're in math class and a is? Positive. Cool. For the second one, y equals x squared minus 1, what have I added in? What have I changed? A, h or k? Who thinks A has changed? Who thinks my A? No one. Who thinks my H has changed? And who thinks my K has changed? So 2 people have an opinion about this graph. Imogen, what's changed? H? Laura, what do you reckon? H? Why do you reckon K, Henry?
Because it's outside the bracket.
It's outside the brackets. Interesting. I think Henry's correct. We have subtracted 1 as our K value, which is like -1. Happy with that? So what that did to our graph, can someone describe what the difference between the blue line and the dashed black line is? Do they look the same? Do they look similar? Gabby, are they the same graph? Are they similar? Describe how they're different.
It's like 1 down.
It's like 1 down. It's the same graph, but it's gone down 1 unit. What was our K value?
0.
-1. So guess what K does? Moves. Which direction? Up or? Positive is? If it was x plus 1, which way would it go? If it was x minus 1, it would go? So positive is up and negative is down. Happy with that? Next example. I'll do this one over here just a little bit. We've got y equals 2x squared. So I've changed the value, haven't I? It's no longer my k value. What value have I changed? Brody, what do you reckon? My a or my h? H? Who agrees with Brody? I've changed my h value. Who has a different idea? Imogen, why do you think it's the a value? Very good, it comes before the x and it's multiplying, not subtracting from or adding to. Happy with that? Don't be stressed, Brady, I haven't taught you this yet. You're learning. So let's have a look. Which one is my y equals 2x on this graph here? Squared, 2x squared, sorry. Which one is it? Is it my dotted black line? Is it my blue line? Which one is it? Brock? The red one. And what's the red one? How do you describe the red one, Brock? Does it look kind of like the blue one? Because the blue one's our baseline. I'll get rid of the black one to avoid confusion. Does the red one look like the blue one at all? Or not at all? Yeah, but no, you're right. I reckon closer is kind of like it's been pulled that way, stretched, tightened. What would happen if instead of using y equals 2x x squared, I use y equals half x squared? What do you reckon? Would it be pulled or would it be squashed? Squashed. So guess what our a value does? Stretches or squashes. Also, a can do something else. What can a do? What happens if it's negative? Flips it. So it turns it into a sad face, flips it round. I'm not going to deal with the negative right now. So if a is greater than what value do we get stretching? If a is greater than, what's our value here? 1. So what will it stretch when a is greater than? 1. So a must be greater than 1 to stretch. And what about squash? A must be less than 1. Must be also something else. A must be positive, so it must be greater than
0.
Very good. So A, for squashing, it must be between 0 and 1, and for stretching, it must be greater than 1. I'm just going to rub my graph, my red one out now. I'm going to leave just my blue one, because I need some help with the last one. If I've just changed the K value and the A value, what haven't I changed yet? My H value. What do we think is going to happen to my H value?
It's going to move it
Left or right? Let's see if that works. So at x equals negative 2, what does y equal? On my board. 9. So I put a dot at 9. When x equals 1, what does y equal? When x equals 1, what does y equal?
0.
Sorry, when x equals 0, what does y equal? Now what I just said, when x equals 1, what does y equal? Very good. When x equals 2? Let's say I'd gone to x equals 3, what do you reckon that will equal? What's 3 minus 1? Squared?